Hello and welcome back to another episode of the On the Sideline podcast with Jackson and Kyle. I am Jackson, and I'm joined here as always by the man. And hold up, this intro has just been blocked. It's been picked up and it's returned for a touchdown. Kyle, how's it going?
Doing fantastic. Interesting week of the NFL season. Once again, showing you that you should always expect the unexpected, except for Ramondre Stevenson will probably fumble the football. But I am doing well. How are you doing, sir?
Yes, I'm doing great as well. That and that the Chiefs will play in a boring game that they win, seeming like that's back. Someone says, can we please skip the Sunday night game? No, we have to start, as always, with the Sunday night game. Yeah, I agree. Crazy week. This is the week of blocked field goals. It's weird how it seemingly these kind of things happen. You want to just jump into Chiefs Giants?
I guess if we have to, I am with Dennis. This was a rough watch. Wasn't a huge fan of it. There was a big narrative coming out this week or last week because I don't think people really enjoyed watching that Chiefs Eagles rematch. That the Chiefs are now boring, which I think they've been a little boring for the last couple seasons compared to what they were previously, which wasn't a hot take. It felt like they got something going a little bit to start the second half. They had that opening touchdown drive. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, are the Chiefs back to doing what they were been doing the last couple seasons, these long, drawn-out drives? And then it kind of just hit a snag again. And, I don't know, like, this team is always going to be judged for how it's performing in January compared to how it performs in September. So I'm not panicking about the Chiefs or anything like that, but it just feels like we got a long way to go, man. I fully expect this team to be good by January. I give them the benefit of the doubt because they've won so much, but it just feels like we're such a long way, even for our expectations of the Chiefs.
On the flip side, I mean, like, okay, listen, the first half, I fully agree. Like, they did win this game 22-9. You know, like that's not totally easy to do. Like, part of it is our expectations are so high for this team. Like, they're a boring watch. They're not fun at any stretch of this. Like, they play defense. They don't play offense very well outside of Mahomes making some plays happen and some Andy Reid schemed open plays and Tyquan Thornton play. But I'm not gonna panic about a 13-point win.
Right. And I'm not either. You shouldn't panic. Although, the Giants still had a chance to put more points on the board and make this even a single-digit game.
Sure.
So, I'm not panicking at this point. But like I said, I just think if you've watched this team the first few weeks, it just feels like there's a huge gap between them and where I would put the Chargers and Bills. And I mean, the Ravens still have to play tomorrow night, but like from what I've seen for the Ravens, it feels like it's just a huge, huge gap right now. I fully expect it to be closed, and I expect like them to be competing against all these teams in the postseason. But getting there is definitely going to be a long draw. And I like Rice and Worthy are going to change a lot to this offense, and it's going to be better. But like, you're seeing like there was multiple plays where like Mahomes rolled out to his right and then threw it back to the left side of the field. And it's just like, that just feels like a very un-Chiefs-like thing to like want to do multiple times in a game. Granted, one time he ended up with a spectacular catch for a down at the 1-yard line. And the second time should have been an easy interception. So this Chiefs team, it's going to be a long process this season. They feel off a step, but like, they did their job, and like you said, they went on the road and won by 13 in the NFL. That's still not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, they were favored by 5.5. I mean, they more than doubled that. I agree though. This does not look as dominant, and we'll see how it is with the receivers. But I don't think Worthy and Rice fix all these issues either. I still don't think that like that makes this an incredible receiving core or anything. So like I agree that there are underlying issues with this Chiefs team, and I agree that I'd put the Chargers and the Bills and the Ravens ahead of them in the AFC right now.
Yeah. I mean, that feels like, we talked about the big three preseason, but it feels like the big three is now not Kansas City, but, we'll see what it looks like in January again. And it's the boring analysis, but it's also the benefit of the, if you win 3 Super Bowls, you get that sort of analysis. Well, if you're in January, I'm still afraid to play you and see you on the field.
Yeah. Flip side, we got to talk some Giants. Cam Scatterboo, very fun. Talk about beating yourselves. There's, that play where Patrick Mahomes inexplicably multiple times in this game just threw the ball backwards. One of them was just like a blind throw backwards that ends up at I believe was at Pacheco's feet. And like multiple Giants should have come up with the football. Neither one were able to. And then Mahomes somehow steals it away from a Giants defender. Like that's a perfect example of just like how this game went, of Giants having opportunities and being unable to capitalize on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they had opportunities to take the ball away and do some things. This defense is pretty nice at times. I do like it a lot.
Wasn't last week.
No, but I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is we joked about it preseason, and is like, what if this Abdul Carter thing all of a sudden lights the fire into Kayvon Thibodeau? And I think he's been pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Granted, like, I don't love the way that they're using Abdul Carter. Like, he's just so bad against the run, and he's in, like, off-ball linebacker roles for this team at times. And that's just not what he should be doing. And maybe you say, okay, I know Thibodeau's playing well, but, like, and he's better against the run, but, like, you still probably want your better player playing the edge position. So it's a weird one. But they have all this talent on the defensive line. Burns, Carter, Thibodeau. You still have Dexter Lawrence there. I mean, Okereke, I thought had a couple really nice plays in this game too. Your front seven's solid, but it just feels like that they don't really have the right formula at times. Like, it just feels like they're dropping their defensive backs way back and say, please don't mess this up and let our guys get to the quarterback. And yeah, so I just think the defense is a little weird for me right now. And then, I mean, the whole offense thing, I mean, like, they're booing their starting quarterback coming on the field. Their backup quarterback, I know they're excited about him. He has not thrown a pass in the NFL. Yeah. And they're booing the starter quarterback to come on the field. And it's just, I don't know. At this point, like, you're 0-3, and the schedule's not really getting any easier. I know you do have the Saints coming up here in a couple weeks, but, like, you play Philadelphia twice before week 8. You have Los Angeles, who we were just saying is one of the best 3 teams in the AFC. I know Denver's 1-2, but they've had couple pretty bad losses mixed in there that they could have easily won. San Francisco's 3-0. Like, do you just say let's get Dart in there and just, like, give people something exciting? Like, it just feels like that they want it, might as well just do it, right? Just put Scatabo, Neighbors, and Dart out there and just let it happen.
Probably. I think you probably don't do it this week with the Chargers coming up. I think you wait till the Saints the week after, even if that's a road game. I think that's probably the move. Because, again, like you said, there's a lot of tough teams on here. Again, it's like for Brian Daboll, like, at a certain point, you have to have self-preservation and say, like, this isn't working for Russell Wilson. If this is another bad season, are you going to stick around for another year? Unless there's been some, like, verbal agreement of, like, you're good after this year too. But even verbal agreements, that doesn't mean anything. I think for the job security, I think Dart's going to come in sooner. They're talking about Jackson Dart like he was, like, the first overall pick. I mean, like, the way that they're talking about him, like, I don't know if we'll see, but yeah, they're talking about him like Sean Payton used to talk about Taysom Hill.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is a bizarre one, and, like, it just feels like that, like, it just feels like everybody knows the book on Russell Wilson. Like, outside of the Cowboys defense, who can't stop anybody, like, he wants to throw the ball downfield. He wants to play vertical. And if not, he's going to hit his check down running back. And the Chiefs seem pretty content. Scatabo had a good day. I liked watching him play today. But the Chiefs just pretty content. Like, hey, if you want to throw to that running back, go right ahead. You are not going to throw any of these deep balls over us. And that's basically just how the offense went. And then they got down in the red zone. They had a 4th down that he threw the ball away. And then they had another 4th down where he escaped a sack pretty well and then took a tackle. Like, it's just like, I don't know exactly what you're going for here.
Yeah. Let's move on from an underwhelming Sunday night game. Still plenty to talk about. 15 games to cover here as we're still before the bye weeks. And obviously the 16th game will be tomorrow. Let's do the upset of the week. How about the scrappy Cleveland Browns? Kyle, I tried to tell you, this is a team going to win 4 games this year. Cleveland Browns pull off the upset with their defense, again, continuing to play great football. You could debate this is the best defense in the league, this Cleveland Browns defense. The issue is this offense is horrendous. Still, like, they can't move. They have no explosiveness whatsoever. There was a play where they ran a flea flicker and gained 3 yards on it, which I just think is the perfect, like, Cleveland Browns 2025 like offensive play. But Quinshon Judkins, that's the one explosiveness you have. Hey, he was able to break off a nice run, gets them and a field goal to make it 10-3. And with 3 minutes left, Packers have the ball. Jordan Love throws an interception in his own territory that sets up the tying touchdown. The Packers, there's a weird fumble play where it looked like maybe it was recovered, but they couldn't. The dreaded no clear recovery meant that the Packers kept the football, but then the field goal was blocked. The Browns recovered, got a nice return, and then kicked the field goal of their own to win the game. And somehow, the Green Bay Packers, the team that we were all talking about as maybe the favorites in the NFC, fall to the lowly Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. This Cleveland team still kind of goofy, but at the same time, like, this defense is definitely not number one pick worthy defense. Like, this is such a good group. I mean, Myles Garrett is the best non-quarterback player in the league probably right now. I think that this group just top to bottom though is really good. Delpit's come in and had a very good season. Denzel Ward's had a good season. Newsom's had a good season. I like that secondary a lot. And they do, I think the defense is gonna, have them compete in a lot of games they probably shouldn't, because for 3 quarters Cleveland had nothing going. They had nothing going, but the defense kept it 10-0. And then they got a couple plays. Quinshon Judkins had that big play. I still like a lot of what their rookies are doing. I know Harold Fannin didn't have a monster game, but we've seen glimpses from those 2 young guys, especially on this team, that like maybe there's something to build on here going forward. It's going to be a long way because, you don't have the quarterback situation figured out. But there's a couple nice players here. There's a couple nice players here to get excited. So good win for Cleveland. Good job in the fourth quarter there to pull off that win. I got a trivia question for you.
Okay.
Can you think of the last time the Browns beat the team that would go on to win the Super Bowl in a season?
Wow, interesting. So I would think like maybe it's one of those Steelers teams. I can't imagine they beat the Chiefs in any of those runs. Can't imagine they beat the Patriots in any of those runs. They didn't beat the Buccaneers. I don't think they beat the I'll guess the Steelers just because they're in the same division.
Not the Steelers. It goes back to 1981. They beat Joe Montana and the San Francisco 49ers 15-12. So that is not even the current Cleveland Browns, because that team moved to Baltimore. Yeah. So the Browns have not beat the current iteration of the Browns, which started, I think, in 99, has not beat a team that has gone on to win the Super Bowl in a regular season. So tough look for the Packers there. This felt like a big step back. Yeah, I know what we just said about the defense, but like, we were talking about Jordan Love in some, in some circles that like we weren't expecting preseason. He would have been lights out, and then a couple just really bad plays I thought in this game, including that interception, and then that just kind of just got away from them, and then that was it.
Yeah. Elijah says Joe Montana once lost to the Browns. Okay, he's not top 10 anymore. It was the previous Browns. The previous Browns were good. That's the Ravens. Think about them that way. Overlap 618 with a super chat. This is a code red alert. I have the mortgage on the Bengals making the playoffs, and we need Kirk Cousins bad, or it's going to be financial devastation for Overlap. Overlap, I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to save that financial devastation.
Yeah. Would you rather have Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson if you're the Bengals?
I think I'd rather have Joe Burrow.
Well, that's sure. Yeah, I think they would too.
I think I'd rather have Jake Browning. I honestly think like that's fine. Kirk Cousins is not helping out this situation. Kirk Cousins with that offensive line is not going well.
Yeah, that is a. You know what? I think the hot take, the lesson here should be you shouldn't bet your mortgage on any team to make the playoffs, especially a team that didn't make the playoffs the year before. That is the lesson for today.
Maybe a misfire there by the great Overlap. Joe Flacco has had 36 pass attempts in this game. He ended up with 142 yards of offense. Is it time for Dylan Gabriel? I kind of feel like, again, it's tough. You look at the schedule to play the Lions, which the defense isn't like overwhelming, I wouldn't think, but also that just could be a tough game because how good the Lions offense could be. Although I don't know, maybe the Vikings the week after though. That's also going to be in a different country. So you have kind of a tough stretch there. I do think sooner rather than later though, it's probably time to move to Dylan Gabriel. You have the Steelers, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets as the next 4 after that. Feels like somewhere in that stretch. Let's see what Gabriel has. If this is what Flacco's giving you, Gabriel, I think, has shown in preseason he should at least be able to give you this.
You would think so.
And
I just
let
don't
me
know.
just actually step it. Like, what if he ends up playing decent? Like, this isn't a
Yeah.
horrible team. Like, this is a good defense. Like, if you can get like tier 3 quarterback play, like the team that doesn't have zero chance of like of competing down the stretch.
Yeah, this team is basically a quarterback away from maybe a quarterback with like I don't know something like $250 million of guaranteed money away from being pretty good. That would be
Yeah.
the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't I don't disagree because I said it last week, so I'm not gonna like change the offense just because they won. That doesn't mean the offense was good, and
Yeah.
that doesn't mean Joe Flacco was good. However, like I don't I don't know if their priority is developing a quarterback this season. I don't know. Like I just don't know what their priority is with this situation because if they like do do they just want to say let's play ball control, make sure we have a veteran who's not going to turn the ball over a bunch and just see if we can win games with their defense because I'm not sure this whole coaching staff is going to be all on board for tanking and that's kind of it
No,
may
I'm saying
happen
the
either way
opposite. No,
because yeah,
I'm saying I think Gabriel might be a better quarterback right now.
it's definitely possible. So
Like
my takeaway from my biggest
sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
No,
No,
I'm
what
just
were you
saying
gonna
like
say?
my argument is if they're both giving you similar, if you feel like Gabriel might be as good as Flacco, then just put in Gabriel because there's also the upside of him being significantly better than Flacco.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. Like I said last week that they probably should. And this didn't change my opinion because they scored
Yeah.
13 fourth quarter points. So I agree with you there. And yeah, I mean, it feels kind of similar to the Giants thing. It's like this group, this fan base probably just wants to see Gabriel and Judkins and see what happens there. So I don't disagree with it. My biggest takeaway from this game is the Browns should not wear those brown helmets again.
Okay.
They just look like big piles of poo running around on the foot. Like who came up with this? Like
I don't know.
let's just put the orange helmet on. We know what the Browns are. Just put the orange helmet on and let's go.
Yeah, okay. I guess we're spending way too long on this game, but we didn't really talk about the Packers bigger picture. I mean, I don't know. It's the Jordan Love thing. This game wasn't all on him. They really struggled to get stuff going offensively, but it's like this is why I keep like have a hard time where I feel like he has 2 good weeks and everyone says, "Wow, Jackson, you fool," and then this happens. Like this continues to happen. So it's spoiler alert for the tier rankings. Like I'm dropping them out of the championship contender tier right now. I just you can't lose to the Browns and be in the top tier.
I mean, it hasn't happened since 1981. So,
yeah, let's just Joe Montana.
Yeah. I mean, no, I agree. I think that he struggled in this game, but I also think this is a commentary about what we've said about the Packers before in some of these situations. The lack of a true clear-cut number one wide receiver does feel like it holds this team back at times, and they just don't have that option. They don't have that. They haven't had that since they let Devontae Adams go. Whether I think it worked out in the end for them, but Matthew Golden had some moments in this game, but he's not ready for that role, and it's Josh Jacobs and Tucker Kraft for the next 2 guys. It's not all on Love, but that's also the bigger problem with this team was that Love has to play better for this team to kind of hit its full stride because they don't have the top tier talent at every position like they used to.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's go to Rams Eagles. Billed as the game of the week. Should have been very least a late window game, if not prime time. Some of the prime time games. I have to say this is a complete tangent, but next week we have 2 Monday night games. We're getting Jets Dolphins and then Bengals Broncos. I mean, how does that happen? At least understood Bengals Broncos if Burrow was healthy, but anyway, Rams Eagles. This was looked like a blowout win for the Rams. Interestingly, so the Eagles, Lane Johnson goes down, and it really hurts the Eagles. Hurts is kind of one weakness is he holds on to the ball too long. He was holding on to the ball too long. The lack of Lane Johnson was really hurting. They actually swapped out backup tackles that were playing. The offense looked a lot better, and they did this one interesting little strategy, Kyle. They threw the ball to A.J. Brown a lot, and seems like that was a good strategy in the second half. The Eagles come all the way back. Granted, again, this was another blocked field goal where the Rams would have won had they just gotten the field goal at the end. Eagles are able to get the block and also return it for a touchdown, which makes it look a little bit like a more comfortable win. But ultimately, either way, the Eagles will take it. But these are 2 very good teams.
2 very good teams indeed. I think the Rams are really good still. Maybe this is one of those things where you have to say in the playoffs, it's not quite what we talk about with those AFC teams as far as like beating Kansas City, but like, you can only come close so many times against a team and get the benefit of the doubt. Like they played better in this game for long stretches and should have won. And this game just got weird. Like, I don't expect them to have 2 block field goals and all this kind of craziness that happened in this game. They had several. It felt like when they played really well too, like they were at 19-7 at halftime. It just felt like there was a bunch of like 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, like even late in the game. I think they had a turnover on downs that was like a 4th and 3. And it's just like, they didn't convert any of them. And like, that felt like a big part of it. And then also the block field goals obviously changes everything, because they had a chance to go up 29-21, get a field goal block. And then they had a chance to win the game still down 27-26, and it's blocked in return for a touchdown. So definitely a weird game overall. Rams definitely shot themselves in the foot too late. And then, the Eagles moved to 3-0, and they're just such a fascinating team, man, because they were the other one. Like, people were saying they were boring after that Chiefs game, and they're unique. Obviously, I think the tush push gets talked about way too much, but it's just, they definitely feed off of the fact that their explosive plays are created through the run. But that also doesn't mean you can never throw the ball downfield. And I think they figured that out. Like, they waited till they were down 26-7 to say, okay, we're gonna stretch the field.
Yeah. You're right. The weird thing is they can win in so many different ways, and it was like, why aren't you going with AJ Brown? And I mean, I think the flip side is Rams do not have a corner who could match up with AJ Brown. I don't know how many teams do, but they especially don't. Like, they were really struggling at that, and you saw. They were struggling to even just tackle AJ Brown. Like, forget cover him. Like, he was just such a force in the second half of that game, and that was a big part of it. I also like. It's weird where, even when it was a blowout, I was kind of like, what's weird is Stafford isn't even playing that great. Like, he was missing some throws. Also, there's a sequence late, and again, this is kind of how football is weird. A sequence late, Stafford has a chance. Nakua can't quite make a play on a ball in the end zone. They have to settle for a field goal, and then that was the first missed field goal. And it's like, had that been a touchdown, like, this game is different. So those little things, this was definitely. They had a chance. Also, I think I can see your dog moving in the background, and it's kind of like freaky because it's blurred out.
Yeah, she's back there.
Yeah. So it was a very a very entertaining game. I definitely think that the Rams have they played the defending champs. They played them down to the final whistle. Like, these are 2 good teams that have a real chance. But yeah, the Eagles, it's, someone brought it up in the chat. It's like, they're like this year's Chiefs. I mean, 3 straight weeks of they find a way to beat the Cowboys due to the CeeDee Lamb drops. Then there's the drop, Travis Kelce play in the end zone. And then they could be 0-3 if things are a little bit different, but they're not. So they're 3-0.
Yeah. I mean, look, they definitely got some sort of voodoo working for them right now, and you absolutely take it. And you don't complain about it. But yeah, I think this would be a fascinating rematch in the postseason, because I said it in the preview thing too. I do think the Rams match up pretty well. Like, I thought Jared Verse was really good in this game. I think he's one of those guys that can actually run with Jalen Hurts when he tries to buy time and like make plays in the backfield. I think they got really athletic edge rushers that can kind of contain him a little bit more and do a better job in those situations. And I thought for long stretches of this game, they did pretty well. So I think the Rams do have an interesting matchup. But the corner is going to be a big issue if they do start to prioritize AJ Brown in this offense. So that matchup will always be interesting to me. I do think these are 2 of the, I don't know about best teams in the NFC. I mean, the Eagles are definitely, benefit of the doubt, best team in the NFC right now. They just won the Super Bowl, but these are 2 of the 3 or 4 best teams in the NFC for sure. And I think that they would give us another classic in the postseason. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I still feel like it's like Eagles 1, and then you have the Packers, the Rams, and I would throw the Buccaneers as the other, like, maybe. Let's go to that team. Let's go to the Buccaneers, the 3rd team to have a wild blocked field goal. This was the team that ended up still winning. So a game that I did not want to be a classic here, Kyle. A game that I was very happy with it being. I thought to myself, hey, it's nice to have a comfortable win for once. This is fun. then all of a sudden things started to get uncomfortable. The Jets score multiple touchdowns after the Buccaneers lead 26-6 in the fourth quarter. Jets score a pair of touchdowns to make it 26-20. But, Buccaneers, no big deal. They march down the field, get in field goal range, are in position to make it a 9-point game with 2 minutes left and ice things. And then Will McDonald blocks the field goal. He also returns it for a touchdown. All of a sudden, the Jets find themselves ahead, 27-26. But Baker Mayfield, once again, in the final 2 minutes, able to come through. The Buccaneers in all 3 games trailed in the final 2 minutes and are 3-0. Emeka Egbuka made some great plays. Sterling Shepard's been a really nice player for the Buccaneers this season. And they find a way. They keep finding a way. But, man, what a stressful game, Kyle.
I can imagine, what your stress levels for these first 3 weeks have to be something else. So 3 walk-off wins. And it's definitely bizarre because it's like you're watching. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde act. It feels like at times when you're watching the Buccaneers. Because if I were to say the good version of the Buccaneers in each of these 3 games looks really good.
Yeah,
looks like they could beat any team in the NFC. The bad version of the Buccaneers is going to shoot themselves in the foot against a good team in the playoffs and lose. Yeah. So you can critique that, but you could also just say they're dealing with a lot of stuff. Offensive line wise, I do have some minor concerns. I think definitely starting with offensive line injuries now starting to add up. There's a lot of mixing and matching, and I thought they struggled in this game. I do think that they're really struggling with number 1 receivers so far to start this season, and their corners are getting beat on a lot of those matchups. But those feel like they could be corrected or survivable, especially when, they haven't had their best. They haven't put their best offensive lineman on the field, and they still have several really good wide receivers waiting to come back into this thing too. And this offense feels like it's going to go up another level when those happen. So interesting start to the Buccaneers season. They looked really good in this game until all of a sudden it was like the Jets were ahead by 1. I don't really know what to do with all that, but at the same time, just a weird week again. But Buccaneers at times look awesome.
Yeah, there is something to be said about finding ways to win, and they are doing that. I agree with what you said. Garrett Wilson had a very nice day in this one. I thought Tyrod Taylor played well. Obviously, the pick 6 wasn't good, but he really settled in, especially in the fourth quarter, and was able to make plays. Breece Hall, the numbers are horrible, but I thought he looked pretty good out there, at least in the had more receiving numbers. Again, Buccaneers defend to run well, continue to do that. But yeah, it's just Mike Evans got banged up in this one. He had a hamstring injury. He left the game. So the comeback was without Evans here. We'll see, what Evans' timeline is like. But again, the Bucs are missing 3 of their starting offensive linemen. The other 2, it's their 3 best offensive linemen, and their other 2 are playing out of position. They can't block well, they can't run block, they can't pass protect. This offense feels handcuffed, and without, Wirfs maybe will come back next week. They kind of desperately need him, but ultimately, they're still finding ways, and it kind of has to be said. Baker Mayfield is just having a tremendous season right now. He's had nice turnover luck, but he's just doing so much well for this Buccaneers team, and I think putting himself in the best quarterback in the NFC conversation right now.
He's definitely in the conversation at this point, for sure. I think he's played really well, and he's just he's big time right now. He is showing up in the biggest moments and making some big time plays, and he's doing it without so much of the guys that he was expected to have on his side for the most of the preseason. So I think he deserves a huge amount of credit. He's incredibly fun. And then Egbuka, obviously we've talked about it the first 3 weeks. He's the offensive rookie of the year through the first 3 weeks. Take with that what you will. There's still 14 games left, of course, but he looks fantastic. He looks like he's a budding star here, and this team's still working to get Godwin, McMillan, and Wirfs back in this lineup. And it just feels like it's going to change a lot of things when those guys are back.
Yeah, let's hope so. Someone asked, I guess, an interesting question, at least get some Jets talking here. Tyrod Taylor or Justin Fields for the rest of the season for the Jets? We'll see. I'm assuming Fields won't play right away. I think if he's ready, I think he goes in next week. But I don't know. I don't think it's a crazy decision to go with Tyrod Taylor either. I didn't think they had to bring in Fields when they brought him in, but they brought in Fields. They paid him decent amount of money. He's probably the guy, unless Taylor can kind of win the job.
I don't think Fields deserves to lose his job fully after one bad game
Hmm.
and an injury. And it's not like I think Tyrod played pretty well, but like I don't think he played well enough to say like, oh, you won the job, man.
Right.
And like I think at least you have an insurance situation where Tyrod has been a backup in the NFL for a long time and has been good at it. So
Yeah.
I think you at least take solace in that, and you still play with the upside of Fields.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's go to another one of the games of the week. Broncos Chargers, where the Broncos, they looked like they were going to, I don't want to say shock the world because this, it's a 2.5 point spread. I know that because I locked up the Chargers and was definitely sweating this one out, Kyle. But the Broncos were playing good football. They recovered a fumble. They got up a clean 7 points, but the Chargers and really Justin Herbert with a couple of really nice plays toward the end. A touchdown to Keenan Allen. That was just an incredible play by Herbert to get enough time to make it work, and a nice catch by Allen. Then once the Chargers got the ball, chance to try and win it, felt like they were going to, and they did. And the Chargers are 3-0 with 3 wins against their division. And again, they played a late Monday night game, so they didn't even, they had to then rebound. Short week on top of this, and being able to, make it happen. Really impressive start for this Chargers team. Like I think I'm still putting Ravens and Bills in top 2 into AFC, but like Chargers are number 3 right now for me. They're playing great football.
And a respectable number 3 for sure. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
definitely in that conversation, and it wouldn't be shocking if they were able to go on a run this season. Yeah, I mean, it's just continuing to be. I didn't think this was like a amazing Herbert game, honestly, and I thought the first half he struggled, but like I thought he came alive really in the second, towards the end of this game, and had some like you said, big time throws towards the end, and it was just pretty interesting because like I continue to say with this team, like we had very much an expectation of what the Chargers were going to look like preseason based on what we saw last season, which was run, play action. And it worked because they had the super talented quarterback running this really, conservative in way offense. And I mean, the run pass splits in this game are a little bit skewed, obviously, because they were trailing late in the game. So they had to throw, but this team is ready to drop back and throw the ball downfield, and Herbert is making a lot of the big time throws that they need. He's playing like an absolute superstar when they absolutely need him. And yeah, I thought it was really good stuff from them. And, they got Amari and Hampton going in this game, and Quentin Johnson continues to put in a really nice season. And all of a sudden this Chargers team looks like it's going to reach another level with these guys.
Yes, never wrong. Just throw like Quentin Johnson. That's right. Gotta always brag when I get one. The one wide receiver take I've gotten right. Kyle, here's another thing. These two teams we kind of talked about very similarly. Of like they could use more receivers. That was kind of something we brought up. It's like a lot of good stuff here, but they need more receivers. The Chargers did some stuff to address it, but it's kind of just been guys stepping up more. Keenan Allen kind of having this resurgent season. Quentin Johnston. Being able to continue to play better. We knew Lad McConkey was good. For the Broncos, we knew Cortland Sutton was good. He had 118 yards in this game. They had 153 total yards. And, for the receivers, they only had 2 receivers receive catches. They had combined 3 catches. Troy Franklin, 2 catches for 8 yards. Marvin Mims, 1 catch for 4 yards. So, again, not getting enough going for the other receivers outside of Sutton.
Yeah, and Franklin had a good start to this season. First 2 weeks, I thought he played very well. This was obviously a big step back, but I mean, I still am a little concerned about that group. It just feels like this team is lacking explosiveness, and it feels like it's hurting them late in games, especially just with the run and pass, although J.K. Dobbins did play well in this game. But I think a lot of the credit still needs to go, and we talked about it last week, to this Chargers defense and the secondary specifically, and the way these guys are playing right now. I mean, Derwin James looks like, you may be able to put him in pen and all-pro at this point already. He looks so good at the safety spot. And then you have, Still and St. Just, all these guys that were like, there's so many cast-offs on this team that it's like, oh, wait, this guy's good now. And it's like, okay.
Right.
And they're really, the talent development and identification for this team has been really good. And then Jim Harbaugh and this staff is really coaching them up well. So I give them a lot of credit in this game too. And I also think that the Broncos do have some concerns there where, We're seeing a resurgence from Keenan Allen. We're seeing Quentin Johnson have the best start to his career by far. And, that three-headed monster at receiver all of a sudden looks a lot more compelling than we thought.
Yeah. For the Broncos, Nick Bonino gave Joe Alt a tough day at the office, which that's not an easy guy to do that to. So if he had a bigger name, he'd be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. Unfortunately, like most people don't know who he is, so like it's hard to be there. But like he's playing fantastic. I could see him having one of those seasons where he like gets some buzz. Sort of like Trey Hendrickson 2 years ago, where it's like he gets some buzz, and then the following year he actually has a chance or something like that. He's been fantastic. I still think this Broncos team is good. They play the Eagles in 2 weeks, so they might end up 2-3. But like, I still think they feel like a playoff team. It's just Chargers feel a little better. But again, this very close game could have gone either way.
Definitely could have gone either way, and their last 2 games could have gone either way, and those both look like playoff teams. And we feels like we're kind of underselling the Colts so far this season. So they've looked good in both the games and still, managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And like, it feels like this team is, I think we were ready to move it. I was ready to move it up a tier and say like, hey, they look really good last season. Maybe they move forward, but that growth isn't always linear. And maybe this team is still a year away, but like, there's just, the framework of this team is really good, and I think they're close, but it just seems like I said, the explosiveness on offense, it feels like even with all this talent on defense, it feels like a slight step back from last year. It seems like receivers are getting more open. Hufanga had a really dumb penalty in this game that kept the Chargers in it too, and it's just like, it just feels like they're really close to being something, but maybe that changes by December, but like, I just don't think they're there yet.
Yeah, we'll see. Plenty of new faces to have to gel together. Let's move on. Let's go to the Cardinals 49ers. Kyle, I thought about getting some mac and cheese to eat for this segment, but I would have had to find a time to go out and buy some because I don't have any. And also it probably would be cold by the time we were talking about this. So I decided not to do it. But Mac Jones beats the team you've been talking about all offseason as America's team, the Cardinals, who you locked up this week. This was a crazy game. It looked like the Cardinals were going to do it. 49ers got called for holding when Mac Jones had the ball in his own end zone. It's a great Calais Campbell play to set that up, which means that it was a safety. The Cardinals went up 15-13, but they weren't able to seal the deal. A pass that looked to be complete, but it was when the receiver hit the ground, the ball popped out. And then Mac Jones and Kyle Shanahan really being able to make this final drive work. Christian McCaffrey had 88 receiving yards, even if it was just 52 rushing. Ricky Pearsall's been awesome this season. He had over 100 receiving yards as well. Really well schemed up final drive. And Mac Jones ran the offense effectively. And the 49ers pull off the victory, go up to 3-0 despite all the injuries they've already had.
All the injuries, and they continue to manage to play well. This defense has looked really good. At times, like, I thought they didn't really get a ton of pressure in this game, which I think is a bigger Kyler Murray conversation that we need to have, that he didn't look terrific to me in this one. But, they made the plays when they had to. And like you said, Mac Jones put together that last drive, and it's been a interesting next man up mentality, because like you said, Pearsall has come out and had a very good start to his second year. Kendrick Bourne had a couple nice catches in this game, big time catches. McCaffrey is still doing his thing, and all of a sudden San Francisco, that it's a division with 4 winning teams, and San Francisco is currently sitting at the top of 3-0 with a plus 10 point differential, funny enough. But they've managed to grind these out, and they're hoping to get their reinforcements back and make a run at it. But they were able to get it done in this game and look really good defensively.
Yeah, the defense is playing awesome, and that's a huge part of it. They lost Nick Bosa in this game as well. I mean, just again, the injuries are piling up. But as for the Cardinals, we do have to talk about Kyler Murray. I mean, this is another example of big time matchup, an opportunity to really try to do more. And this is an underwhelming performance. No, that 159 yards on 35 attempts. The team in general also, I mean, again, it's not just him. And then to make matters worse, James Conner, bad injury, seems to be out for the season. I mean, this is again, it's season's a long way from over. They're still 2-1, but really underwhelming game when they had a chance to pull off the victory and show something. They play again on Thursday. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the Cardinals?
Yeah, this offense, I was hoping for a bit of a year or two leap with some of these guys, and it just hasn't really gone the way we wanted. The James Conner thing, I do think, like, I don't rate a lot of non-tier one running backs very highly, but he does feel like such a tone setter for this team at times, especially on offense, and he catches the ball out of the backfield pretty well for a guy his size. And I think they're going to miss that a lot, even though, like, I think DeMercado and Trey Benson are fine, like backups, right? So I don't think it's a disaster, but like that is something that like I do value him a little bit more than your normal tier 3 running back, if you will. So I think that hurts. And then, I mean, like I didn't think Kyler played very well in this game, but also like Marvin Harrison Jr., man, he had a huge drop in this game that looked like it was going to be like a 50-yard reception. Yeah. He was so wide open, and like all of a sudden, I mean, that probably makes his game look a lot better if he catches that one and runs after the catch. And he really hasn't turned the corner and like made that year 2 leap we were expecting. And I think the offense is all of a sudden, waffling a little bit in this game, that it feels like that they still feel like they need to work out some things for sure.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the Cardinals next week, as we will preview them on Wednesday. They are the Thursday game playing the Seahawks, so it doesn't get much easier for the NFC West. Every week there's going to be an important NFC West matchup, it feels like.
Yeah. All those, like I said, all those teams are winning right now, and every one of these games matters. I mean, this would have been. I mean, San Francisco's now 2-0 in the division. That feels very impactful so far.
Yeah, completely agree. Let's go to Texans Jaguars. This was a game that kind of got lost in the shuffle just because there was so much craziness going on. But this was another game that really came down to the wire. Both quarterbacks were trying to give this game away. They were both like desperately trying to make. This was another not great CJ Stroud performance. Where I think the first week I was kind of like, oh, let's not. Like, I didn't really think he played that poorly, but I think both these weeks he's had some underwhelming stuff. Did have a nice pass to Nico Collins down the field, but yeah, I mean, the whole thing was like, what's going on with Brian Thomas? Then he has a big play that helps, the Jaguars. So very, very weird. We saw Travis Hunter have a nice reception. That's cool. Ultimately, this was a very sloppy game, and the Texans fall to 0-3. Jaguars are 2-1. Staying in it here.
Staying in it indeed. This corner duo does look good when they play. I think that they're ramping up Travis Hunter more on defense. I like that a lot. I like what this defense is doing for sure. There are a lot of criticisms to still talk about this Texans offense, and it has been brewing for the last couple of seasons. People are looking for the blame game. People want to blame Stroud. People want to blame the offensive line. People want to blame this, that, and everything else. The number 2 receivers, it feels like it's a little bit of everything, right? Like you just, you want to blame this, that, and everything else. They have, since Stephon Diggs got hurt, they haven't really figured out that number 2 receiver outside a couple Tank Dell games, and he got hurt. Nico Collins did have a good game this one, but he had a big fumble at late too. And yeah, it just feels like, it's cliche to say people got to step up, but like quarterback has to play better, receivers have to play better, offensive line has to play better. When you say those 3 position groups all have to play better for you to win, something's not going right. That's my opinion. I think that they got some issues on offense for sure, man. And I don't know if it's a coaching staff thing. I've always felt like they've been a little too conservative at times these last couple seasons. But like, there's just a lot of players are playing bad on this team that we held to higher regards than what they are.
Yeah, D'Amico Ryans might be in trouble. I mean, if he can't, they play the Titans next week. I mean, I don't think he's in trouble like to be fired like next week, but I think like if this doesn't go well this season, he will be in trouble because obviously the Bobby Solak got most of the blame last season, and so far it doesn't seem like he's the problem. So we'll see how everything goes. But yeah, both quarterbacks in negative total EPA in this game. I didn't think Lawrence was great either. Like I still feel like the Jaguars, like, it's weird how pretty much everything has been better except for Travis Hunter and Trevor Lawrence, like the two things that you were hoping would be great. Like, but everything else has been good, so they're still winning games.
Yeah, I thought Lawrence was horrible in this game, honestly.
Yeah.
And, you know, how many, it just feels like we could say, well, he played a good defense or something like that. And how many times can we just make the same excuses? Like, you know, they've given him opportunities here. They have really talented team at times. And, you know, I think that, you know, I know you want the Travis Hunter things to work out, but I think right now he's just a defensive player that also can make a few catches. And I think that they just need to commit to that and then figure out what they're doing with his offense. But I mean, it's not looking good right now for Lawrence in his future.
Yeah. Well, let's go to, I wasn't going to do this early in the show, but just because we're talking about this division, let's finish off the AFC South. Colts, Titans, we'll spend forever on it, but, you know, bad interception by Cam Ward. This was as a Cam Ward defender, this was not his best day. But also this Colts team is just a buzzsaw right now. I mean, Daniel Jones had that rush. That was fantastic. Jonathan Taylor, shout out to everyone who had him in fantasy because he ends up with 3 touchdowns, 100 rushing yards. You know, he's playing at a superstar level. This Colts team. I mean, I feel like there's I don't know how much I'm buying in, but hey, better than the Saints last year. They can at least wipe that narrative off.
Yeah, better than the Saints last year. I had to think about that one for a second, but yeah,
right.
Everything looks really good. I mean, they've punted once through 3 games. Look, I still think Josh Allen's the best player in football and all that, but like you got to say it. If we're doing MVP rankings in the 3rd week of the season, you know who it is? It's Daniel Jones is the MVP of the NFL. So, I mean, this guy, he's at 3 games played. He is at 9 yards per completion, no turnovers. He's taken 2 sacks, 2 for the entire 3 games. He's at 72%, 9 yards per completion on 72% completion percentage. I mean, this guy, he's been fantastic. Like, yes, he's in a good situation. It feels like right now this offensive line's playing well. Jonathan Taylor, like you said, is playing out of his mind, but he's also doing more. It's not like he's just going in and game managing this situation. He's throwing the ball downfield. He's being aggressive with it, and he's making good throws. Like, I think Daniel Jones has been really good, and I think he's the MVP of football through 3 weeks.
He's playing very well. He's obviously not the MVP through 3 weeks, but he's playing very, very well. Lamar's been a little better. I think Josh Allen's been a little better. I don't think that's crazy to say, but no, I mean, he is mostly running the offense. He's doing some other stuff that's very good. But yeah, I don't know how far this is going to go with Daniel Jones, but I mean, you are correct that like the comparisons we make to Sam Darnold, to Baker Mayfield, to Geno Smith, he has started better than all 3 of those guys started.
Yeah, I mean, I you know, like I said, I don't think none of this. The thing is like it doesn't look like fluky in a lot of ways. Like it's you know, not that those guys were flukes. Obviously, they all had good seasons, and Baker's continued and all that stuff. But like you know, there's not like the weird turnover luck that we saw from Darnold at times last season, or even Baker early on in his kind of resurgence. And like, you know, it's not none of these passes look like they're dangerous. It's not like he's putting the ball in harm's way, hardly at all. And yeah, I think he's just, you know, seeing opportunities and throwing the ball. And I mean, it looks really good.
Okay, now someone said keep hating on DJ Jackson. What do you mean? I'm saying he shouldn't be MVP. That's not hating.
He's the MVP of the league.
This is how, Kyle, you always get me because you'll say these outrageous things. Like, you know, I'm gonna say I think Michael Pittman Jr. is the best receiver in football. And then I'll be like, no, like he's a very good receiver. And then everyone's like, why do you hate Michael Pittman Jr.?
I'm not saying he's going to win it. I'm saying through 3 weeks, he has my MVP vote, my fake MVP vote through 3 weeks of the season. Nothing will change my vote. Number 1, Daniel Jones. Number 2, Josh Allen.
You also were big. You also were big Tua deserves some MVP buzz, guy. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
This is better than Tua too.
Maybe
if he ends the season with over 9 yards per completion and is among the league leaders in a lot of statistics. He'll be in my top 3 MVP voting. Probably number 1.
Okay, sure. I don't disagree. We'll see how this goes. I did not expect this. I didn't talk about the Titans much, but I don't think we have. You know, it's a growing process for this team. I mean, you're going to have these weeks.
They're calling for firing the coach.
Yeah,
that's not a good sign.
No, It's not a good. Yeah, after week 1, they were calling. I mean, again. I don't get why these teams do this. Just get a new head coach. Like it's okay. You can do that. You don't have to just give the guy another year just to give him an extra year.
Yeah, I mean the weird thing is like I think the biggest problem with this Titans team actually is like even the guys who played well last season and we were impressed with, and it's like maybe this isn't the worst situation for Cam Ward going into as a rookie. Like Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley have just not been good this year. Like, and those are guys we were like, oh, maybe they'll make it easier on him, that sort of thing. And it's like, nope, they're making it a lot harder. That's not good. So they got some things to work out for sure.
Yeah. Again, a big fan of Daniel Jones. I just want to say I'm really enjoying what's happening here. It's sometimes gotta pump the brakes. But Kyle, we'll see. Don't turn me into a Daniel Jones hater. I'm enjoying this. Do the Colts have a chance to make some noise this playoffs? It's only week 3.
It's only week 3.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm going to keep watching this. I want a little bit more time. That Broncos win was impressive. You know, the Titans and Dolphins are 0-6. So yeah, we'll give it time. Right. I think they got a nice like litmus test next week. I want to see what they look like these next 3 to 4 weeks because they got the Rams, the Raiders, who I know they got battered today, but I still think that team's a little bit better than what they showed. You know, you got the Cardinals and the Chargers. I think that you're playing professional football teams these next 4 weeks. Let's see what it looks like. But at this point right now, you have to say this is at least the number 4 team in the AFC, if not even higher.
Yeah, through 3 weeks, they're probably been better. Or at least, they're at least in that top tier through the first 3 weeks. It is fair to say as well, the teams they have played have 1 combined win, are 1-8, but the Broncos are much better than that record would show. And part of why they keep the opposing teams' records are bad is because they've all lost to the Colts. Yeah. So,
I mean, there's 6 winning teams in the AFC right now. Like, even the teams that are probably doom and gloom right now, like except for Tennessee, which looks like they're just trying to build for the future, essentially. Like even we just talked about the Texans and how bad things are going. Like they're a couple wins away from being right back in the mix in this thing. Like it is a long season. The AFC feels wide open for teams 7 through 12, 13. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're a lock. I feel like the Colts, I mean, again, we'll see, but assuming this is who they are, they're a lock for at least a division title.
Definitely feels that way. I mean, we just talked about that Texans-Jaguars game, a little unimpressed, and they feel far, at the very least, you're looking at your division and say, we feel far and away ahead of everybody else there.
Yeah. Kyle, let's talk about your stupid team. The Patriots, who should have won this game. I mean, they have multiple turnovers inside the Steelers' 5-yard line. Ultimately fall short here. I'll give you the floor. What happened here?
I mean, it's just we've seen this Patriots thing, it feels like for the last few years now, where, we used to win by being one of the smartest and most disciplined teams in the league a lot. And a lot of that's gone now. And we lose dumb football games. We played like a talented but very dumb and young football team, and that cost us this game. We outplayed the Steelers in every metric except for we turned the ball over 5 times. We spot them 7 points by turning the ball over at midfield to start the game. That leads to a 7-0 lead. We punt. All of a sudden, we're down 14-0. It's like, this looks like a disaster. Great drive to respond. Drake May looked good in that drive. Touchdown, tie it up. Punt. Really long 17-play drive, get all the way down inside the 5-yard line. We have 16 seconds left with 3 timeouts inside the 5-yard lines. We throw the ball 3 times in a row with all that time. 22 seconds. 22 seconds with all 3 of our timeouts to end before the half, down 14-7. We throw the ball 3 straight times, and the last one ends up with an interception where it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Drake May also took a lot of blame for that one because he felt like he should have lofted it, but I don't know, tipped pass, whatever.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, it is one of those things where, didn't look good, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, we opened the second half with an interception of our own. Could be right back in the mix. We looked really good at the end of the half. Fumble, finally get our touchdown to tie the game, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're doing it. They have not done anything in the second half. Go down the field and fumble one more time just for good measure. Made sure to really give them the opportunities to win this game, and They shot themselves in the foot. So 5 turnovers and a turnover on downs to end the game. And yeah, I mean, it's the frustrating thing because people are going to look at me and say I'm just biased and a fan, talking about this game. But I do believe through the first 3 weeks, I think the Patriots are a good enough team to make the postseason. I think this is a team talented enough to do these things, and they're doing it without their best defensive player. And the guy who's replacing him right now, Alex Austin, is getting targeted relentlessly over and over again by quarterbacks. And like the defensive line has played really good. I think the receivers have stepped up when they needed to at times, and they looked like a young team that blew their opportunity here. And, it's only week 3. A lot can change, but this is the kind of team we need to beat to make the playoffs because they're also competing for that playoff spot. So it definitely stings because I think this team is way more talented than the way they've shown in this game.
I think they're more talented. I also think that, part of it too is players are making mistakes. Like it's the NFL. Bad players make more mistakes than good players, right? And even, someone brought it up in the chat, but the Demario Douglas play where you just fall backwards, you have the first down on 4th down. Instead, he tries to make a move and then gets tackled a yard short. It's, I think part of it too is Mike Vrabel might just have to get rid of some of the guys who are making mistakes and keeping the guys who aren't, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a lot of talk about Ramondre Stevenson this week. But Antonio Gibson also put the ball on the ground, so I don't even know what to do with that. Yeah, I mean, definitely a frustrating thing. Like some big mental errors there for some young players. I thought Drake looked really good in this game at times. And yeah, definitely a frustrating one for sure to see because I do think this team was more talented. And like I said, every other metric except for turnovers, we absolutely dominated the Steelers. We were just better at every single facet of football except for that. And that was the difference.
Yeah. Again, it is a little bit tough, though, to say other than turnovers, when the turnovers were 5-1, right? Like that's a bit. Yeah. Again, you're not going to fumble 4 times consistently. There is flukiness there. I get what you're saying, but that's something to have to clean up.
Yeah, definitely have to clean up. And the Steelers team's just interesting, man.
Yeah.
I know they got the turnovers, and you want to give them the credit, and I agree. But this defense kind of sucks.
Yeah.
They stink. I don't know how else to say it. They got some big time sacks in this game. TJ Watt had some big plays. And I just don't know. They still don't have Highsmith in this team. So that plays a part because he's another big pass rusher for this team. But it really does feel like a lot of times they're asking TJ Watt to make plays. And he's great enough to do it a lot. And, he's one of the best defensive players in the league. But I just don't think the rest of this defense has played well at all. And it's just very un-Steelers like to expect this sort of thing. And they got spotted several points in this game. They had that short field for their first touchdown, and then they didn't really do anything else offensively until the final drive of the game. It's a weird team right now, but 2-1. They had a really good game to start the season, but I think the offense doesn't look all up to par so far. And I think the defense is not going to carry them to as many wins as we're used to seeing the Steelers do.
How'd Rodgers look?
Okay at times. I thought it was a very Aaron Rodgers thing where it's you're not going to throw the ball downfield. He's not going to take a ton of chances, which works. Obviously, I can criticize that, but they also won the turnover battle 5-1 for a reason.
Right.
He's not going to make those mistakes and put his team in position to lose games. But it still feels like outside of the last throw of the game, which was the touchdown to Calvin Austin, he's not looking to stretch the field a whole lot or challenge guys down the field. And I think that's just kind of the way he wants to win a lot of games.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's go to the Detroit Lions. Wait, no, scratch that. The Chicago Bears with a very Ben Johnson-like performance here. Caleb Williams' numbers, it's a very Jared Goff-like stat line here. And to me, again, we'll say the Cowboys defense, this and that, but I think this is really optimistic if you're a Bears fan. I mean, if you're a Bears fan, this has to be the best week in over a decade of watching your team. The Packers losing in embarrassing fashion and this happening with your team. The Bears offense looked like a Ben Johnson offense. Yes, against a bad defense, but that's kind of the point, right? Is if they can get the talent to what Ben Johnson wants, this kind of thing can happen. And Williams missed a couple throws in this game, but he also made some plays happen after the play broke down. And that's why, in theory, this could be the perfect fit. It's similar to the 49ers with Brock Purdy, where it's like Purdy isn't perfect, but he's really good when a play breaks down. And for the Shanahan offense, if you can run the offense, it's not, you don't have to be an elite game manager to do it. Similar here, where it's like, you on one hand, you'd think like Jared Goff would be a perfect fit for Ben Johnson because he's such a good game manager and there's such a great game to be managed. But like sometimes this is actually better because you can get, plays after it works out, if it works out perfectly. Again, they were not going to play the Dallas defense again this season unless they both make the playoffs. But at least you have it shows maybe what could an idealized version of what could come in the future.
Yeah. I agree. Like there's still a few plays for Caleb here where it felt like the easy throw he was putting in the ground like 2 yards in front of his receiver. But then he also had like a naked bootleg in this game where the edge rusher just like read it immediately and was in his face. And he just like stepped back and like flung this thing to the side, and it was like a perfect throw to the sideline for a guy running a comeback route. And like there continues to be, even in his bad games, throws that he makes, and it's like, okay, those are still impressive. Like there's a reason he's taken in that spot. However, I do think the commentary right now for Caleb Williams is it was good. You take whatever wins you can get, I think, as far as watching Caleb Williams and the Bears should go. But he looks really good against bad football teams, and then he looks really good against bad football teams and then really bad against basically everybody else. Like you look at last year, his best games, he had that Carolina game and then the London game against Jacksonville that he looked fantastic. And it looked like he was turning his season around. Then he didn't really do it. And then in this one, I think this Cowboys defense, I mean, look at what the Giants were weeks 1 and 3, and then look at what Russell Wilson did in that second game.
Sure.
Like this is bad defense. This is someone is going to get fired this season on defense. I don't know who it is, but
I think everyone.
Yeah,
I don't think there'll be a coach left. The people putting out Gatorade aren't going to be there anymore.
Yeah, like it's just someone is probably going to get fired eventually for this. It's only week 3 of this coaching staff, so we'll see. But this is a bad defensive group right now, and it's a bit of a problem. But yeah, I mean, I don't think the Bears care. I don't think Bears fans should care too. You saw Caleb Williams play well. You want to see him build off this, but this is probably the best quarterback performance of the week so far, at least. And I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm someone who I don't just look at the numbers. I'm also like, how did you play? And like, I do think that there is some, it's why I was more critical of Jared Goff than most. It's why apparently I'm more critical of Daniel Jones than at least my podcast co-host. Like it's not. I just don't quite get. I feel like I mean. Again, what I like about this, if I'm a Bears fan, is just how easy it looked. Like that had never happened in Caleb Williams' career, where he could play okay and have over 10 yards per attempt.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think he played better than okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought all of it looked really good. I thought, they checked a lot of boxes. I thought the defense even played better. Like, granted, like there was some stupidity in this game. Like I thought Dak still played really well. He had a dumb interception late, but it was also like a 4th down with nothing open. And he was just like, let me just see what happens. And it just wasn't a good throw. The first interception was completely on George Pickens. And I still think he's putting together a really good season, but like, I think the Bears defense looked a lot better than it did the week before, which isn't saying much, but like it's building blocks towards something again for this team. And, your first win under Ben Johnson, and you hope that's first of many.
Yeah. So for the Bears, and the schedule's not the toughest upcoming. Raiders, Commanders are good, but you have the Saints. Then they do have the Ravens, but then you have the Bengals and the Giants. So like, there's some winnable games up here. So we'll see. But obviously, again, it's a long-term plan for the Bears, not a short-term plan. Let's move on. Let's go to one of the real surprises of the week. The Atlanta Falcons losing 30-0 to the second place Carolina Panthers now all of a sudden with their 1-2 record and beating the Falcons. That puts them in second. Kyle, what the hell was this by Atlanta? I mean, like, so first, Bryce Young and the Panthers offense showing something, and Bryce Young still had like 5 yards per attempt. It still wasn't like great, but like the offense at least looking competent for Carolina. We felt like that would happen at some point. I felt like they weren't going to play horrible offense for 17 games. But this Falcons offensive performance, I mean, Michael Penix was missing throws. Guys were dropping passes. Guys were running the wrong routes. Should have been multiple pick sixes if it wasn't for a great like defensive play by Michael Penix to stop the second one from being a pick six. And that was a receiver fell down. That play wasn't even his fault. I mean, what an absolute mess for a team that everyone's been blowing out to get shut out by them.
Yeah. Weird game. This Falcons team is I don't even know. Like they looked really good against Minnesota. I mean, they even looked really good against Tampa and lost that game. And then all of a sudden they lay the stinker. And I don't know. I guess our sample size says 2 good performances and then whatever this was. So we shrug our shoulders at it. But, like this is a defense that you should not get shut out by any means. I don't think the Browns shouldn't get shut out by this defense right now based on what we've seen. So definitely a weird one. I kind of throw my hands up and say, if it looks bad next week for Atlanta, maybe I'll panic a little bit more. But like, it was just it felt like it just got off on the wrong foot and then everything spiraled out of control. And maybe that's just the product of having a young quarterback and forcing him to drop back and throw more, which they had to because they fell behind. And that's not something you want to see. But, good job from Carolina. Like you said, there was at least some offensive stability. And, I know Egbuka is rightfully getting a lot of the praise, but Ted McMillan looks really good.
Yeah.
Like he just the highlights. He was always a highlights guy. It felt like even in college, but like, it may be a little sacrilege, but like the way he just glides in the air when he goes up for like contested catches, it's like almost Julio Jones-esque. Like it's just incredible the way he gets up and makes some of these catches. I think he looks really good, and I think that this is a good win for the Panthers, who definitely needed some good juju.
Yeah, absolutely. Ted McMillan's incredible, and like him versus Egbuka, I mean, like if Ted McMillan's Baker Mayfield's number one option for a lot of chunk of the season, like his numbers would probably be better. I think he's done great with what he could, for that. But yeah, I mean, this is just I hear you. Like I don't know what to make of this Atlanta team. Like I kind of am with you. I'm like, what do we even do from here? But now you play the Commanders and the Bills, the 49ers for the next 3 weeks. Like, if you go 1-2, which is maybe optimistic, you're now looking at a 2-4 start to the season. Like this was a team that I put in like probably a playoff team tier in the tier rankings. Like they're almost like this is the biggest losers of the week are the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, definitely. This felt like the one you had to have. But like, would it shock you if they beat the Commanders and 49ers and Dolphins and all of a sudden it's like, okay, this team's back? Like, I don't think it'd shock me based on what we saw the first couple weeks. This version of the Falcons is not beating, any of these next 3 teams. But, like, I don't know. Look, I just want to see more of it. Like I said, if the offense looks this bad again, I'll panic a little bit more. But, like, there's definitely some worrying signs from this game. But, like, I also this wasn't the team we saw the first 2 weeks. So we'll see. The pass rush was all of a sudden non-existent again. And
that's something we kind of talked about with like weeks 1 and 2. They did play against backup tackles in both of those games.
Yeah. Yeah. But even wasn't the Panthers missing like Robert Hunt in this game too? I know he's not a tackle, but like, it just felt like they didn't get a lot going in this game at all. And like I said, it just felt like everything spiraled out of control.
Yeah. There was nothing good. Even the coaching. I mean, like, well, there's a play when it was 3rd and 1, and it's like the first quarter, they have timeouts, and like it's a delay of game, and they don't get the timeout in time. So instead of just burning a timeout in the first quarter, they now have a 3rd and 6. It's like that's not smart football. And then they burned all their timeouts anyway prior to the end of the half, and they had a play where they threw it to a player over the middle of the field in field goal range, but he doesn't run out of bounds. He just falls right down with 4 seconds left and the clock expires. Like just some weird stuff. This Falcon team is I just feel like they don't do the simple stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it just feels like there are guys that like you just are in or out on pretty early. And I think Raheem Morris is one of those guys I'm just kind of like out on. Like, I think he's all right at with like defensive coordinator stuff, but like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm really excited about what this team is going forward with him there.
Yeah, it's just not working. Let's move on. 4 games left to talk about. Well, I guess let's go Dolphins-Bills, the Thursday night game. I mean, this was a game that all of a sudden ended up being pretty interesting. I mean, the Dolphins and Bills were tied with about 10 minutes left. The Bills are about to punt the ball to Miami. There was the dreaded roughing the punter penalty that gave the Bills life. They quickly after scored a touchdown. Then Tua threw an interception, which Kurt Warner has been on Twitter like vehemently defending for the past several days after that. So I don't know. Either way, not a great play by the offensive unit that kind of iced things there. At one point, like it was in the third quarter, the stat they put on the screen was that Tua had taken the longest time to throw in his career in a game, and he had negative air yards. I don't know how that's possible. I don't know how you make that happen. There was a lot of screen passes and things of that nature. A couple of plays where obviously took some shots down the field. Tyreek had a drop, but ultimately this was a competitive game, and it against a team that nobody thought you were going to stand a chance with. Like this was not a bad performance by Miami, but it's in the middle of a hurricane of a season.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't even think the defense looked as bad as they had in the past, right? So, the past few weeks. So, they played a little bit better in this game. And I think that's probably your small victory, your moral victory. But, like, even then, you gave up almost 6 yards per run, and penalties killed you at the end. And it just felt like this team just lacks something that we, like, I don't know. Like, when is the last time you envisioned Miami with a 4.3 yards per pass? Like, that's just not something we expected from this team the last few seasons. Right. They've just been so explosive and so dynamic, especially in September. And you know what? Maybe they're saving their best ball for December now instead. But, like, I'm still not hitting the panic thing just because, like I said, there's just not a lot of winning teams in the AFC right now. And their schedule gets a lot easier their next few weeks. So they play the Jets, the Panthers, which may be a juggernaut now. We'll see. The Chargers, the Browns, the Falcons. So they have winnable games here. They can right the ship, but it just feels like this team is lacking stuff.
I think I hit the panic button. I think I'm panicking. Like things could get better, but like I want the alarms to blare.
Yeah, but like if they win their next, if they win 4 of their next 5, like then all of a sudden, all that panicking is about nothing. They're 4-4.
Well, sure, but. Yeah, sometimes you gotta panic. I don't know. When do you hit the panic button? I'm not saying hit the self-destruct. Just like need the red lights and the alarms to blare. Just
are you taking the ping pong table out of the locker room right now? Is that your...
Yeah. What is it in or is it out? Whatever it is, do the opposite. That's what you gotta do. Yeah. I mean, no. Tough game for Tua. Listen, if they cut him after this season, it's $99 million in dead cap. I don't know if he's gonna be a part of the cap space at least for the next several years, regardless of how these things go. For the Bills, I mean the Bills are the Bills. They played well. Thursday night game, divisional matchup, finding a way to win. Can't be too mad at that.
Yeah, I mean no, you can't be too mad. And like you said, they are closing games, which is something I think you want to see for this team come January time. Mm-hmm. So that was good. I do think I know that they didn't give up a whole ton of air yards, but I still think the coverage could be a little bit better. Yeah. And I am curious. I know Hairston still hasn't played to my knowledge, but I do wonder if they try and add something to their secondary at the deadline time. I know that's not a big NFL thing, but it just feels like they could use another body back there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they did trade for Rasul Douglas. Maybe we should do that again. He's on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
That's gotta be tough if you're Rasul Douglas and you're seeing all your friends have fun. You're just on I mean, granted, then you got to go back and live in Miami and not, with all due respect, the weather getting colder in Buffalo. I think maybe you look at the temperatures in both and say, it could be worse.
But may not have a ping pong table come Monday.
Right, exactly. Let's move on. 3 games left. Well, I mean, again, I don't know. These are 3 tough games. I guess let's talk some balls. Why don't we? Marcus Mariota continues to play well for the Commanders. I think he might end up. What's that?
The revenge game.
Was he with the Raiders? I completely forgot about that.
I think he wasn't he?
That sounds right.
Yeah, he was there 2 years. The revenge game. He's back.
Yes. Love a good revenge game like that. Again, continues to play well. Geno Smith ends up with like 10 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Chunk of that was garbage time, although it wasn't like horrible throughout by him or anything. But I mean, again, when the Commanders' offense is when the score gets lopsided as quickly as it did, that's what can end up happening here. Very, very bizarre game where the Commanders' total offense they rushed more than they passed in this game. Their total offense was good, but like again, not much passing yards. It still scored 41. The Raiders didn't turn the ball over with that. Like just kind of an odd game that again no one was watching because there's too much other stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, like Bobby Wagner looked like 2013 Bobby Wagner in this game. Like I don't know, like we just saw a Raiders team. We saw a Raiders offensive line get bullied by a defensive line and linebacker room that isn't bullying a lot of guys right now.
Right.
And yeah, I thought they played terribly, honestly. Like, yeah, I didn't think the offensive line played well at all for the Raiders. I don't think they helped them at all. Ashton Jeanty continues with his slow start. He hasn't been as effective as they were hoping. They're trying to get him involved in the offense, and it's just not working so far. Yeah, I think they definitely need to go back to the drawing board with this offense and, they need better starts out of this team. And then the defense had showed some signs in the first 2 weeks and looked very bad in this one too. So disappointing game overall for the Raiders for sure.
Yeah, I mean, after week 1, it's like, hey, Raiders, here we go. Like, this is what we wanted. And then just 2 disastrous weeks back to back and with different reasons. Week 2, Geno kept throwing picks to the Chargers. Now it's, the defense really struggling to stop the run. I mean, they did okay. Actually, weirdly, it was Jeremy McNichols who ended up as the leading rusher on his 4 carries for 78 yards and a touchdown. But like, yeah, it was just, I don't know. I mean, the Raiders, the run blocking has been really underwhelming. Like, again, why do you draft a running back 6th overall if you can't run block well? I mean, obviously they thought they would run block better, but like that's just kind of been the most disappointing thing.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think this offensive line has definitely struggled, and I thought it was a big. On the other side, I thought the Commanders' offensive line on their own played very well in this game. So I think it was definitely a tale of 2 teams that kind of raided the ship. I saw a stat. Let me see if I can find it again. It was Josh Connerly had 11 matchups against Max Crosby, and he let in a garbage time sack and basically won the other 10 matchups, if you will. So, I thought they did really well overall, and they looked ready to help their quarterback and their running back succeed. And they had the big 60-yard run in this game too that also made it look a lot better. But like, yeah, I don't think the Raiders are really doing themselves any favor in the trenches right now.
Yeah. The balls look fine though. Balls look back.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to see from this offense. So good win overall. Let's hope they can get Jaden Daniels back and then hit the ground running here. 2 weeks there for that Chargers matchup that I think is going to be fascinating.
Yeah. Let's talk 2 more games left. Let's go Bengals Vikings. The Isaiah Rodgers game as he ends up with multiple defensive scores and also a forced fumble on top of that. We saw Carson Wentz play football for the first time in a while. That wasn't just a Week 18 playing with the backups game. And mission accomplished through the first week. We also even saw Max Brosmer get some snaps for the Vikings after this got to be a blowout. Running game was effective. Justin Jefferson was fantastic. The defense smothering. And the flip side is Jake Browning to everyone who had the take of, why is Joe Burrow that great if the offense seemingly does just as well when Jake Browning comes in? I might have to delete some tweets.
Yeah. That was always idiotic. So that wasn't great. This game was over before it started. It felt like the Vikings just jumped them, and the talent ID and development from this Vikings team continues to just be really impressive, especially with Brian Flores in the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Isaiah Rodgers comes into this team. He's on his third team in 5 years, and I mean, it's a fantastic performance. And he's honestly, like, even beyond this, has gotten off to a good start to the season and looked the part of what they needed. So they're getting good stuff out of that. The defense looked fully back in this game, which is what you wanted to see. Go have an ass kicking game. And it's not like Wentz was amazing or anything, but when you're up 34-3 at halftime, you don't have to be that amazing to win a lot of games.
Yeah, right. And he made the plays. I mean, he's still Carson Wentz where he never throws the ball away. There was a couple plays. Like, there was one play where it was a blitz, and it still somehow lasted 4 seconds. And he was still just standing in the pocket, and he threw it and got a completion. Like, that was kind of summing up this game. So against tougher defenses, I'm not sure exactly how it'll work, but yeah, I mean, he can still time up over the middle route well. Like, there still are things that are effective. Kyle, I just thought, how perfect would it be? Carson Wentz as a backup comes in, plays well, wins the Super Bowl, can complete the arc for him.
Complete the arc, I like it. Can Nick Foles be his backup again? Just because?
I think he would that would not be the right move if you wanted him to play well.
Yeah, that'd probably be mentally pretty tough for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Keep him out of the building. Don't even say the word.
Yeah, Nick Foles is banned from the. It's written over the ping pong table. Do not say the name Nick Foles.
Yes. Right. But then if you take away the ping pong tables, then you won't know it. So you have to keep the ping pong tables there.
Well, if they're taking away the ping pong tables, things have gone terribly wrong anyways. So who cares?
But no, maybe it's because you're getting more serious. Oh yeah, you're right. You always do it when things go wrong. Kyle, speaking of things going wrong, we talked about the Saints weeks 1 and 2. Hey, the scrappy Saints, they're staying in these games. They're not very talented. Well, this one was over very quickly. Credit to the Seahawks. Sam Darnold throws 18 times in this game, still has over 200 yards and a pair of touchdowns. I mean, again, this was one of those bizarre games where Seahawks have 44 points. They only have 320 total yards of offense, and the Saints only fumbled or only turned the ball over once. So again, another really just bizarre game here. 21-0 at the end of the first quarter, Kyle.
Yeah, I don't even know what to do with this game. Like you said, the Saints have been frisky this season. They've been competitive. They've worked hard in these games. But yes, you would like to do better on special teams, but this game was 20-0 before people even turned it on.
Yeah.
So whatever. Seahawks did look really good though. I think the special teams look good.
Yeah.
The defense continues to look really good. And Sam Darnold had big time plays in this game. He was able to get out of the pocket and do what Sam Darnold does at his best, which is make plays down the field with his legs and then throwing downfield. And I thought he looked really good in those spots in this game. And him and Jackson Smith and Jigba have a really good combination going right now for sure.
Yeah, I was hopeful there'd be a fun insult stat with the Seahawks special teams, but no, couldn't find one. But they had a lot of yards. They had almost 200 yards of special teams stuff, and that only 2 of those were kick returns. Over 100 punt return touchdowns.
Yeah.
Or what did I say? Over 100 punt return yards, not touchdowns. That would be crazy.
Yeah. In one game, yeah, that'd be a lot.
Be a lot.
Yeah. No, I was impressed. I thought they looked really good. Are you ready to come over to my side of the fence here? I'm gonna make you look bad to the haters for a second. Are you still a Jackson Smith and Jigba hater, or are you ready to admit that this guy's a superstar?
I mean, DK Metcalf looks really good too.
He doesn't look this good.
He looks pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I think they're both good. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is probably a little better. I think you ended up being right about that. Okay, I'll tip my cap. You were correct. But DK Metcalf's very good as well. Both guys are looking good.
I like both of them. But yeah, I think Smith and Jigba just has it. I think he's
Metcalf's better at the goal line fade.
Yes, he is bigger. Smith and Jigba is getting dangerously close to my top 10. I think he's that good.
Okay.
So I think he is continuing to just impress week after week.
Okay. Sure. I gotta. Are you willing to admit that Sam Darnold is a top 10 quarterback?
No.
Why not?
I will not give up.
I'm trying to set you up now.
No, it's okay. I don't think anyone would agree with that, so it's okay.
Okay.
Top 10? You can't even give it like top 15, maybe top 15, but no, top 10. Come on.
I don't know.
In the league of Baker Mayfield, I don't think so.
Baker Mayfield's definitely better than 10.
Yeah, I know.
He's like
Daniel Jones is better than Sam Darnold right now.
Sure. I agree. Through 3 weeks, we look at that. Look at us. We finally made some, got some agreements here at the end of this long podcast. Again, a lot of stuff going that we have to go over, but a fun show. Kyle, let them know can find us on Twitter before we head out.
Yeah, make sure to follow us on Twitter. That is at Jackson Kruger. Make sure to follow me at by Kyle Gronin, and make sure to follow the account page at On the Sideline JK. That is at On the Sideline JK.
Of course, if you like audio only podcast, anywhere you get your podcast, you can search On the Sideline Podcast, and we should be available there. That is our show. We will be back Wednesday to preview everything from next week. We will also recap the Monday game there. So Kyle, look at us. 3 weeks in, football season's all the way back.
Football season's all the way back. We're grinding through it, and soon we aren't going to have these 90-minute shows, and that'll be nice too.
Yes, I think next week is the last no bye week week, so only one more to get through.
Yeah, looking forward to it. But no, good stuff overall.
Yes, I'm not going to do it, Cameron. I'm not going to ask Kyle about soccer. That's the last thing I want. Well, I mean, if we do need to get to sleep, could be a good topic.
Good topic for you.
Yeah, I think so.
Just gonna wind me up.
Okay. Thanks to everybody for watching or listening. We do appreciate it. We'll be back Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern to preview week 4. Be on the lookout for that. And until next time, have a good one.
Peace.